Okay, it's quite near. Never mind. Hello everybody, here we are, and without any further delay, let's simply get going. And today we are gonna be talking in this particular live. I'm mainly gonna be talking about the commands of the Linux. So this is how it's gonna be going on. And first of all, let's talk about the DevOps stuff and all. So there is something called SDLC, that simply means Software Development Lifecycle. So this is the full form of that. So I even have to work on my notes. Just a minute. This is gonna be, by the way, pretty interesting. We are gonna be working with so many commands right now, so that's gonna be super duper. Why not? And of course, whatever commands I have, I'm gonna be just simply going through all of them, and once this is done, then we are gonna be switching to something else. There's a lot. Even in the evening I have to talk about Rust, and the list goes on. Alrighty, so there is something called SDLC, Software Development Lifecycle, and especially when it comes to the DevOps, so requirement, if you are actually building any project, so requirement planning, designing, development, testing, deploy, and maintain, that's okay. Models in SL, I'm just simply going through the content. If there's something that I need to discuss, I will be discussing about that. Otherwise, we will be simply talking about the commands. Okay, so this is how it's going to be going on. Models in SDLC. SDLC full form, Software Development Life Cycle. SDLC, that's really a good one. Waterfall, agile, okay, that's fine. And deploy, test, and Q&A, agile, that's fine, got it. Dev is agile, but oops is a waterfall, that's also right. And code, fetch, build, test, notify, feedback, continuous delivery, and continuous integration. In continuous integration, in the sense, as you are writing the code, you are just simply building that, checking whether everything works and all, and then continuously integrating it to, mainly pushing it to the GitHub, so it is being integrated, and it will be built, tested, and deployed. That is called continuous deployment. And there is something called continuous delivery. So deployment in like, there is a difference between continuous deployment and continuous delivery. Delivery in the sense, your code will be tested and out and all, and then it will be pushed to the main deployment section. So deployment means your code has actually been pushed and it is productionized, and right now it is live. Delivery in the sense, it just checks a lot of things on the go. Like, it builds the project, it checks whether everything's working or not, it checks whether your project is actually up and running in the main virtual machine or something. By the way, these are the things that I'm yet to learn more about, but this is just the basic information that I have recently got. And then virtual setup, I am using even web simply handles the virtual machine creation and all, especially when it comes to the hypervisors. So there are two types of them. First one is bare metal, runs on a base OS production VMware ESXi Gen hypervisor. Second one runs a software learn and test Oracle VirtualBox, VirtualBox or VMware. Okay, we are gonna be using Oracle VirtualBox over here. So ultimately, what I mean that you have your normal hardware. Okay, so there are two types of hypervisors. And what are hypervisors? This is nothing but kind of a layer that is that sits on top of your hardware, and that decides how virtual machines are created on your machine, something like that. And Linux, CentOS, Ubuntu, okay, that's fine. And option this, there are many things. I have to just simply format it. And there's let me do one thing, let me format it a bit. So this is the introduction part, and in the introduction part, TS2, this should, or probably a page. Just a minute, I'm just simply formatting this stuff a little bit. Intro, that's gonna be the intro of the normal things. And how long will it be taking? This much is done. Let me send this inside this. The second one needs to be sent as well. I wish I could show directly, but I'm not sure whether I'm gonna be getting copyright strikes and all because of this. I have made my notes watching a Udemy course, and right now if I just show everything, I'm gonna be showing the commands and all, but I'm not sure about this thing, whether I should be showing everything here. So intro is done. Apart from this introduction, virtual machine setup, let me quickly just format it a little bit, and then I will start talking about the things. So this is gonna be sort of the intro part. So page virtual machines. And what will I be doing here? There are some technologies. Well, this is actually hanging. Here we are. So this is it. Copy. And Linux machine, that is okay. Then there is something called lab, and then I have some of the commands here, right? So let me cover this much. Keep it inside this. Give me a sec. When it comes to this lab, these are the commands that we have. And sudo root, this lab vagrant. Then we have vagrant over here. I better just simply open it on my main PC. That let's see what's gonna be happening. I'm gonna be opening because I'm trying to format it here, but it's not really possible to format it directly in one go. So it's better to just simply have everything like this. So this is what I was just simply working on. Second one is gonna be vagrant related stuff. So that's gonna be a page vagrant. Let me just quickly format it, and then I will discuss about the commands and all. So this is how I'm gonna be going ahead. What this vagrant is all about, don't worry, we'll talk about all these things, but I missed something. Mainly because of these images I may get the whatever I'm thinking of getting. Alrighty, so this VMware setup is done, and apart from this particular thing, there's one more DevOps Linux, and here I have some pages and all. So what I'm actually gonna be doing, /intro, and what all comes in the intro section. These are the intro related stuff, so I'm gonna be ignore these images. I can't even discuss more like in depth keeping those images in front of me. But overall, the commands that I wrote on my own, of course I'm gonna be talking about these, and these are the commands that we have to talk about. Alrighty, so without any further delay, let's simply get started, and let's discuss the things one by one, as simple as that. So coming back to this one DevOps part, so first of all we have the introduction part. So in the introduction part, I mainly learned about the decoding DevOps. So let me see if there's something like exactly why you learn the DevOps and all. So this was the only thing that was discussed. Then how you actually build the project. So for building the project, you need the requirement first of all. Then you will have to plan that, design that, then you will have to develop that. After developing, test and deployment and all. These things are there. So this is just the common basic thing. So we are not really gonna be talking about it. There is something called models in SDLC. This is really important that you should be aware of. Models in SDLC. There are different kinds of models. By the way, the full form of SDLC is software development life cycle, just like this. So this is the full form of that. By the way, when it comes to models, so there are different models. First one is gonna be agile model. Agile in the sense, once you started something, you can come back and you can change the stuff. Suppose you started working on a project, then you thought of a new feature, then you came back and then you started working on that feature, then you came back to the next feature. So like where you don't have any fixed way, you can just work on a feature, you can come back, you can work on the another feature. So that is called the agile model. And there is something called, even before that, there is something called waterfall model. Waterfall in the sense, the way waterfall just comes from top to the bottom. So ultimately it goes directly. That simply means if you have a step-by-step process that you will anyhow have to follow the step. That is called a waterfall model. So ultimately, if you are going through DevOps, so you know that you will have to first of all create a Docker file, then you will have to create the image. After that, you will have to build the image. Once building the image, you will have to create the Kubernetes cluster and all, and then you will have to push everything there. All these things, there is a fixed way that okay, this is the way that you have to go with. So when it comes to DevOps, so if I talk about DevOps, there are different models as well. But when I talk about DevOps, so this comes under waterfall. Like okay, you have predefined steps that you have to just simply go through. When it comes to development, like you are developing something, developing an app maybe, so that comes under agile. And there are other more like Spiral is there, Big Bang is there. You can just know more about it. These are the two that I am aware of, so I'm discussing about them. Okay, so we have talked about this exactly what is agile and what is this waterfall. These things are sort of important because the names you should be aware of, because if somebody uses them and you don't know what is waterfall model, what is agile model, then that's gonna be problematic. Okay, coming back, going ahead. So ultimately, dev is agile, oops is waterfall. So development part is the agile, DevOps part is the ultimately, what is the full form of DevOps? So development plus operations, right? So first of all, you will develop something, then operations are gonna be done. Okay, and then there are some predefined steps. First of all, suppose if you are going through this, so you will write the code, then you will build the code, then you will test the code, analyze the code, and then this is how it will keep going on. And this is called DevOps kind of pipeline, what all you have to do and all. Then you will deliver it, security changes, software testing, deploy it to production, go live, user approval. I mean, there's a lot of this. Let's not worry about that. As I keep learning more things about the process and all, exactly how the things work in the DevOps, I'm gonna be talking about that. But it's pretty simple. Code, first of all, you write the code, then you fetch the code to probably GitHub, then you build that, then you test that, notify the user if something goes wrong. And this is how, this is called continuous integration. You are writing the code, you are integrating it continuously, checking whether something went wrong or not. And then there is something called continuous delivery. Continuous delivery is mainly responsible for deploying it in an automated manner, and then checking whether everything's work or not. So this is called continuous delivery. And then there is something called continuous deployment. That simply means when you actually deploy the code to the production, at that time that is called continuous deployment. Before even that, there is something called continuous delivery that simply keeps building, testing, deploying. Ultimately mainly deploying and testing whether everything works or not. So this is just the intro part. We haven't really discussed about any specific Linux commands and all, but we are definitely gonna be discussing that very soon, just within 5 minutes or something. Let's talk about virtual machines. So first of all, what are virtual machines? So virtual machines in the sense the machine that is created on top of your machine. So there is something called hypervisor. They are not real machines. So when it comes to VMs, so they are not real machines. They are just simply machines that have been created on top of your machine. So you have your machine, that could be Windows, that could be Mac OS, that could be Linux, and what happens that on your hardware, on top of that, there is something called hypervisor. This hypervisor layer is responsible for creating the virtual machines and all, and you can just simply create that. You can even search hypervisor here, and what is hypervisor, you can just simply know more about it. Ultimately it sits on your, okay, this proper blog on this, what is hypervisor, VMware, you can know more about it ultimately. And let's talk about some terminologies. Yeah, there is something called host OS, guest OS. Host OS in the sense host operating system. So if there is something called guest operating system. Ultimately, if you are the user logged in on your probably Linux and also, that is gonna be host. If you are not logged, ultimately you can create a guest account as well, right? If you are from Windows and all. So there is a feature for guest account, like there's gonna be a main account and there's gonna be guest account. Guest account gonna be for other people who are gonna be just using your device for a while and all, and your main host account is gonna be the main one that handles everything else. Then virtual machines we already know. By the way, snapshots, it is like you build the image, it is the snapshot kind of snap of anything that you have built. So ultimately, with the help of the snapshots, you can just simply rebuild the same thing again. So suppose you created your Docker image, right? And how can I explain this? You created a virtual machine, and then you can just simply take the snapshot of that particular virtual machine. So if you have worked with AWS, so in AWS you create a virtual machine, you just simply install everything over there, you run the projects and all, and once everything is done, you can create AMIs, Amazon machine images and all, and over there you can take this snapshot as well. That image is sort of snapshot only. So with that snapshot, with that image, you can just simply remake the machine again or rerun the machine again. Then there is something called hypervisor. We have already talked about it. Even there are two types of hypervisors: bare metal, that simply runs on the bare metal, and there are runs on software. So there are hypervisors that directly run on the bare. Something called Oracle VirtualBox or VMware and all. You can just simply use all of them. And this is just the theory part, so let's not worry about them much. Then there are different types of distros of Ubuntu Linux. So there is something called CentOS, Ubuntu, Fedora, Kali Linux. The list goes on like this. And when it comes to Windows, so you already have the window, and you can even get the ISO file. And even Mac OS, you cannot really install that. Okay, so these are the things that we have gone through. And when it comes to methods, so there are two methods of you creating any virtual machine. First thing is that you install Oracle VirtualBox. So you have to just simply install this virtual box. It can be installed on any device, doesn't matter which device you are using. Once you have that, then you need the ISO images. So they are kind of the snapshots only. Once you need the once you got the ISO image, so you can, with the help of the VirtualBox, you can just simply create a virtual machine for yourself. So this is how the virtual machine can actually be created. This is the manual way, where again let me show you. This is the VirtualBox that I have here. I have few machines running over here. So if you click on new, over here you can just simply add the name of your machine. Here you can just simply add the ISO image. Click on next, configure everything. The image is gonna be created. I'm not gonna be going through in detail, but yeah, this can definitely be created. And this is the manual way. Manual way in the sense you will have to install the image. Once the image is done, you will have to first of all install VirtualBox for sure, then get the ISO image, and then create the virtual machine and all. Follow all the instructions, and that will be done. The second way is that you are gonna be using Vagrant. What is this? This is kind of a software that is used for doing this job for you. So it ultimately automates. So no more about Vagrant exactly how it's used, but ultimately what you do in Vagrant, you create a Vagrant file here. You create a Vagrant file, and by the way, when it comes to a Vagrant, so this is a software, but sort of a library, because kind of a manager that manages all the images, all the virtual machines and all. So this is kind of a library. You can even know more about it. That using this, you can just simply plus management library management. Using this, you can just simply install the virtual machines directly. You can create the virtual machines automatically. By the way, for this thing you will have to create a global status if you want to check the global status of all, and this list keeps going on like this. So this is the second step. Again, we are gonna be using Vagrant over here. I have already told exactly how it goes, how you create the virtual machines and all. Not gonna be talking about the manual which you can just watch many videos exactly how it's done. There are nothing but videos on YouTube on this particular topic, so you can just simply go through that. Let's talk about Vagrant. So for Vagrant, you need to be this needs to be installed. So if you actually go to Vagrant install here, or download, install Ubuntu probably. So from here you can just simply install the Vagrant, and well, this is not what I'm looking for. Probably this is what I'm looking for. So install Vagrant, yeah. So if you just simply run this particular command, so Vagrant is gonna be installed on your device. Once you have Vagrant installed on your device, what is the next thing that you have to do? Pretty simple. It's just a minute. It's the easiest way to just simply go through the step. So here we are. I already have few images, but I'm gonna be creating quickly just for the demonstration purpose. Suppose I want a new image. So Vagrant images list, discovering Vagrant boxes. How am I gonna be getting the just a sec. Why is it taking so much time? How am I gonna be getting the packages, images? How to access the list of boxes in Vagrant file? Okay, is there any link that can actually give me background to this Vagrant boxes? Suppose I want to install what? I want to install Ubuntu. So Vagrant Ubuntu box, run Vagrant box using public documentation. There was a list to just simply, by the way, you can get it like this, that will work. I'm scared of save references. Done. Okay, so coming back to this one, Vagrant box, Ubuntu Jammy 64. The thing is that I'm getting them one by one. There should be a list like a from where you can just simply search the things. I'm not getting that, but I have that saved here, right? So index Ubuntu Jellyfish. So this is the website that I'm talking about. The website name is sent to us, not this one. Yeah, sorry, missing something. Coming back to alrighty. Vagrant, there should be a link for this. I don't have the link from where I can actually just simply download the softwares directly in one go. So probably you will have to just look for them one by one. There was a link, but I don't have that yet. VM setup. Just a minute. Let me see if I can get this. Index Vagrant virtual machine. If I can get it here. Nope. Let me go to the main page. Links. Sonar Cube Cloud, GitHub. No man, this is not really possible. This doesn't seem to be here anymore. Alrighty, let me give it one more try if I can find that. So Vagrant search image, just find and use box Vagrant images. Discover page. Okay, this is the one. Come on, yaar. Okay, never mind. By the way, from here you can just simply search everything. So this is portal.cloud.hashicorp.com/vagrant/discover. By the way, from here you can just simply get any image. So suppose I want what? CentOS. I already have Fedora. Let me try to install Fedora. If I can get images for that. Generic Fedora, these are the server ones. Or can I get Windows as well? So window, will it work for that? Okay, I can definitely get, but they are crazy ones. I'm not sure whether that's gonna be good one. So let me go with the Fedora, and I'm gonna be using Fedora 28. This is at the top, so I'm gonna be using this, and I'm just simply creating this so that I can show you exactly how you, first of all you need to install Vagrant, and then how your machine is gonna be created. So from here you have to just simply copy the name. The name is gonna be generic Fedora 28. So let me copy this. Once it is copied, go here, create another folder that's gonna be Fedora. Let me just simply open this code. I'm in my virtual box, sorry, not virtual box, VS Code. And here what I'm gonna be saying, if I have first of all Vagrant needs to be installed. So Vagrant needs to be installed. If you run this, you will be getting these types of things. The next thing is that Vagrant init, it's gonna be initialized, and now you got this Vagrant file. Over here what you have to do, well, this is not how you have to do it. So you have to say Vagrant init and the name of the file that you got, generic Fedora 28. Let's simply add this. So ultimately a Vagrant file will be created. In this particular Vagrant file you already have generic Fedora 28 name. Okay, once you have this, so you are gonna be running Vagrant up. It will just simply start. It will do everything for you, but there's gonna be a problem here in my case. My Docker is running right now. Let me stop the Docker. It's gonna be just throwing an error in my case, mainly because my KVM is on. So if you are running it on Linux, so this this is the problem that you are gonna be facing. So I'm gonna be talking about that too. It is gonna be taking around 2 minutes or something, and then it's gonna be installed. And once it is installed, then we are gonna be talking about everything that comes inside that. We are gonna be running the commands and all as well. So virtual machine is done. Hopefully I have gone through everything. Yeah, done. Let me make it really quick. Don't really have a lot of time either. So So there are two things. There is a manual process where you have to just simply install the machine manually, and there is something called Vagrant that just simply install the machines, virtual machines for you. So we are talking about Vagrant over here, and then sudo username mod virtualbox users this groups sudo reboot. This is something that is I'm definitely gonna be using, and then IP address show. Alrighty, and live install OS create virtual machines, that is already done. Vagrant manages automates virtual machine lifecycle. Vagrant for VS no OS installation. Vagrant file simple commands. Yeah, that's right. And this is gonna be the overall. So what this Vagrant actually does, you just simply run Vagrant up. This simply gets the configuration from the Vagrant file. Then if the image exists, then it will be using that image. If image does not exist, it's gonna be loading the image from the cloud. So right now it is just simply saying it's gonna be taking 2 minutes and 1.5 minutes. So ultimately right now it is just simply loading the image from the cloud. Once it has loaded the image, then it will start running that particular virtual box, and you can even see that. Then right now there is no Fedora over here, but as soon as it starts running, you will be getting the Fedora in your virtual machine manager as well, Oracle one. Alrighty, so these are the things that we have to just simply go through. So ultimately what we do, we create a folder, we create the Vagrant file, we just simply initialize it, and then we configure, we just simply enter the name over here. This is the name that got entered, and then you have to run Vagrant up. It will be just simply starting that. Even after that, you can just simply SSH into the machine. So you have to just simply run Vagrant SSH, and this is how it's gonna be done. So these are the things that we have to go through. Vagrant box list, if you wanna see the list of all of them, there is something called Vagrant status. As for these commands, we are gonna be talking about it. It's gonna be taking this much time. So should I wait for it, or it is almost 70% done? So let's simply wait for it, and then we will start working on the commands and all. Meanwhile, let's see which category it belongs to. So Fedora belongs to which category of Linux? There are two things, Debian and Fedora community supported cutting RPM, Rail Package Manager. So it belongs to RPM category. That simply means even CentOS belongs to this category only, and Ubuntu belongs to Debian category. So okay, that's fine. And apart from this particular thing, VirtualBox status SSH, let it be installed first of all. Make it really quick. It is gonna be taking around 42 minutes. Can I do one thing? Let me do one thing along the way. I'm inside the Fedora, that's already getting installed, so let's not worry about that. It will be taking around 40 seconds or something. I'm gonna be going to CentOS right now. So cd CentOS. If I say Vagrant status, so ultimately it is just simply saying that the virtual box that I want to install, that is power off. So let me simply install that. So I'm gonna be running Vagrant up, and it will be starting that. Ultimately, which file it will be using? So inside CentOS, I have my Vagrant file. This is the Vagrant file CentOS, so it will be installing CentOS. But this is almost done as well. So let's simply exit it, and let me continue with this Fedora only. This is almost done in 98%. Okay. So it has installed. Right now I can just simply install the virtual machine. By the way, it should be started, but it will not be. Why? Ideally it should be started over here, but there's gonna be a problem. Well, it has started sort of that, but I'm definitely gonna be getting an error. Starting power off aborted. Why am I getting this error? It is gonna be just simply telling that there was error while executing this CLI used by Vagrant for controlling VirtualBox. The command and stder is shown below. Ultimately what it is saying that VirtualBox can't enable AMDV extension. Please disable the KVM kernel extension, recompile your kernel and reboot. Ultimately it is asking me to stop my KVM for a while. KVM is mainly used for VirtualBox from the VirtualBox side. From my Linux side, if I'm not wrong. So VirtualBox can't enable the AMDV extension. Please disable the KVM kernel extension. So ultimately the KVM kernel that we are using, this is used by default, and because of this, as it is already being used, so my VirtualBox is not able to use it, so I will have to disable it so that it can use this. So for disabling it, sudo mod probe, and I wanna remove what I want to remove, or reboot probably. This is probably called remove. So I have to remove what, disable ultimately. So I have to disable or reboot kvm amd. Enter the password, and this is done. And if I run the same command by grant up right now, it should be working. By the way, now whenever you will try to run Docker container, you will be getting the same error that that is being used, that is not enabled, so you will have to enable it by then. So we will be even talking about that. So let it get started, and once it is started, then we will quickly jump into the commands and all. So as you can see, even here, this machine is running. So Fedora default, this machine automatically got created. So like the top ones I created on my own, the 3 ones or this particular one, this automatically got created. So if you just simply run vagrant status, so you are gonna be getting that particular machine. So default, this is the virtual machine that is already running. To stop it, I can run vagrant halt, or I can run vagrant suspend, and this will be started. And if I want to start it again, so I'm gonna be running vagrant app up. So these are the commands. By the way, if I want to see the list of all the vagrant images, so vagrant box list, if you just simply run this, you are going to be getting the list of them. So I have 3 of them over here. I have CentOS Stream 9, and I have Fedora, I have Ubuntu Jammy 64. So these are the images, the virtual machines that I have in my device. I have got them using all of them using vagrant only. Let's talk about the what. I'm gonna be SSHing into the machine. So right now I'm on my main machine. So if I just present working directory, so home, Vipendra, desktop, vagrant. So this is my main machine that I have right now. If I say host name, that's gonna be Ubuntu over here. So I'm on my Linux machine right now. If I want to go inside the Fedora machine that is running, so vagrant SSH. So now I'm gonna be going inside the machine. Right now I'm inside vagrant Fedora. So this is the username, and this is the machine name if I'm not wrong. So ultimately if I say host name, so host name is Fedora 28 local domain and all. So it is locally running, so that is why it has that. So ultimately, yeah, we are inside the machine. If I say ls, there's nothing. We have present working directory, we have /vagrant, and if I say cd, present, we are still there. So cd / this is the root, and inside the root we have bin. What is the use of bin? Inside bin you have your not configuration. If I go to bin ls, and bash rc file I should have over here. So bin, ultimately whatever package you install, most of them just directly get saved inside bin only, and bin is used by the normal user, and there is something called sbin over here, ls. So we have bin inside this, mainly if you are installing suppose bun and all, so that's gonna be here inside this bin. So ultimately inside bin, if I'm not wrong, so cd bin ls, I should be having my bash rc, but I don't think bash rc file is here. So if I actually want to search, so grep, what I want to search, I want to search something called bash rc. Will it work? I don't think so. So grep bash rc, everything, permission denied. Even I have to learn about this, never mind. And if I quickly try to have a look over here, bash, not sure if I have bash rc file here. Okay, that is actually lsa. So now I should be getting it at the top. This is fine. So usually I have it here, not getting it anyway. So cd dot cat dot bash rc, no such file or directory exists. Okay, let's not worry about that. But ultimately, if you are installing some packages and all, So they are gonna be inside this. For example, if I just try to show really quickly, so we have ls command over here that has been configured. We have which, we have who, we have who am I. So ultimately whatever we commands we have, even if in future we are gonna be installing something, we have vim, we have vi, we have everything here by default. So that's what I meant here at the end. Okay, so this is the bin that we have. Second directory that I have boot, that is gonna be mainly responsible for booting your virtual machine and also. If you just go inside this, you will have some configuration related to system and all. Okay, so let's not worry about that. Overall you should have the idea. Dev is mainly for the development, so cd dev, it will have some, what does it have by the way? So it has development related what that definitely something I'm gonna be taking the help of my notes and gonna be talking about this. But it has the code related to the what memory, like in when you are running that, so whatever is being used for that. So suppose you are using memory, you are using RAM, you are using network and all, so the whole information is gonna be inside this. It's just like that. By the way, yet to talk in depth regarding all these things. And then etc, it just simply contains your configuration. So whatever configuration you have on your machine, so that's gonna be inside this. So the configuration related to anything that is either that, be it SSH, be it anything else, but I can see, then only I can talk about that. So even you have network manager, you have host name over here. So ultimately whatever the configuration related to your machine you have, that's gonna be here. You have host config, you have host name, you have hosts, and it just simply keeps going on. There's actually a lot. Let's not go deeper into that, but what I mean that overall you should have the idea exactly. Okay, if there are these many folders, so this is gonna be the use of these folders. ls, let me go to the root directory. So similarly we have home, that home in the sense this is the home directory. That simply means from over here you can just simply create your folders, create files and all, and work on the things. So this is the one. And inside home we have vagrant, cd vagrant, and cd vagrant, and this is your home directory, home/vagrant and all. And from here you can just simply create whatever you want to create. And let me go to the root directory. If you just say cd and /, you are going to be going to the root directory. And then inside the root directory we have lib. Again, this contains library related stuff. So let me even go through that. So lib ls, well, honestly I have to just know more about all these things. Let's skip this for now. Let's go to the other one, and I'm gonna be definitely talking about each and everything, not really a big problem. So we have lib64 media, contains media related info, mnt opt and proc root. This is gonna be the root file. So ultimately if you are running the root user, so you will be here. So ultimately root everything related to the root user comes inside this. So if you go to root ls, again you have everything else, the same files. You have bin, you have boot, you have dev, all these folders and all, they belong to the root user right here. So inside there are two types of users, the normal user and the root user. Whatever belongs to the root user, that will be in this particular folder. And there is something called sbin. If you can find that, we have bin over here, and we have this sbin over here, that is mainly used by the system or something, or probably root user or something. I'm gonna be talking about it, don't worry. But yeah, this is something that I wanted to discuss. You have variables. Even before that you have temp over here, so all the temporary values get stored over here and gets removed from here. You have user, you have where. So this way it just simply keeps going on. Now let's stop guessing and talk about the things based on some real stuff. Ultimately whatever we are gonna be discussing, that's gonna be exactly true. So it's no use just simply guessing it, or rather just simply let's go through the stuff really well. So in that case, do I have it here or not? Virtual machines, Vagrant, I have already gone through Vagrant, so let's not worry about that. DevOps, Linux, it turns out yeah, it's time to just simply talk about this. For that thing I need to install this, so let me install it. Doesn't matter how long it takes, once we have started, we are gonna be getting it done the best way possible. And by the way, it's not about the timing, it's mainly about the learning. So I'll give my level best. So here we are. So let's talk about Linux right now. So what is Linux? This is what is Linux is an open source operating system. So what is open source? So software and source code available to all. So ultimately, what is open source? Anything that is available to all. Other people just simply can contribute to that. That is called open source. The Free Software Foundation specifies 4 freedoms: freedom to run the program for any purpose. This is just the theory part, you can just simply ignore it. So the freedom to run the program for any purpose, the freedom to study and modify the source code, the freedom to redistribute the program, the freedom to create derivative programs. Many source licenses exist, each with a different particulars. Ultimately, when it comes to open source, so that is open source in the sense that is openly available. You can just simply contribute to that. You can make your own version of that. So ultimately, this is how the things go on. When it comes to Linux, so it was introduced in 1984. So the GNU project and the Free Software Foundation creates open source version of Unix utilities in 1984, and then creates the general public license GPL software license enforcing open source principles. This is just the theory part, how Linux was created and all, so let's not worry about that. In 1991, Linus Torvalds creates open source UNIX like kernel released under the GPL ports some GNU utilities solicits assistance online. So ultimately in 1984 there was something called GNU project was created. So ultimately created open source version of UNIX, and then in 1991 there was a person that actually created a open source version of UNIX like kernel, and today we use Linux kernel plus GNU utilities, complete open source Unix ultimately like operating system, so packaged for targeted audience as distribution. So ultimately there are different distributions. Going ahead, whatever you call that, Linux principles, everything is a file including hardware. So in your Linux everything is a file. That simply means this bin, this boot, this dev, this etc, this home, this lib64, all these are nothing but the files, even your hardware. So ultimately the directories, the files are the files, the directories are also the files. Small single purpose programs, ability to chain programs together to perform complex tasks, avoid captive user interfaces. In Linux you hardly have that. Configuration data is stored in text. So ultimately, let's continue. Why Linux? Open source, community support, heavily customized, most servers runs on Linux. DevOps, most of the tools implements on Linux only. So if you have ever created a virtual machine, so you create a virtual machine using Ubuntu. You can definitely create using others as well, but most of the time people use Ubuntu. Automation, secures and all. When it comes to Linux, so what is Linux? So ultimately you have hardware. On top of your hardware there is something called a kernel. So suppose this is my computer that I have, so there is a hardware of the computer. On top of that hardware there is kernel that sits. On top of the kernel there is shell for my Linux machine, and just over that we have different commands like vi, cd, grep, date. I mean ultimately whatever applications you are running, whatever commands that you are using, that simply happens on top of that only. So applications or commands or the date that you get, anything else, that just simply goes above shell. So ultimately there is hardware, then kernel, then on the kernel shell remains. After that you just have simply your after that you have simply your applications, commands and etc, all these things. Few more important things over here. First of all, this was the thing that root and home username. So ultimately, first of all, let's talk about the home, and even I have to just keep this particular thing in mind. What I have to just simply create a proper node as well, so that next time onwards I don't have to go through this node from scratch. So ultimately, what I'm gonna be talking about, first of all, this is the thing. So there is something called home directory. So instead of having it like this, let me remove it from here, and would be better to keep it here or somewhere else. Let's see. So Linux, let's keep it here only. Let's see how it's gonna be going on. So slash code. What is this intro? This intro does simply tells you out everything. Okay, got it. Okay, so let's talk about this thing. So there are gonna be different types of in your Ubuntu. If you actually have a look over here, whether that is Ubuntu, Fedora or CentOS OS doesn't really matter. So if you run ls, so this is the root this is the root directory, and in the root directory ultimately you have these many things. But there are two types of root directories. We are going to be talking about all those things. Let's not worry about that. Coming back to this one, the first thing that we have here, that is going to be home directories. Home directories. There are home directories. What are the home directories? For the root user, root is the home directory, and for a normal user, /home/ anything. Suppose in our case that is vagrant, or username can be anything. So ultimately that particular username is the home directory. So if I actually show you here, so if I exit and if I just simply SSH into the machine again, so vagrant SSH, so this is what we get by default. If I say present working directory, so this is the home directory for the normal user, and if you go to if you say sudo I, it just simply makes you the root user over here, and if you say present working directory, you are gonna be getting this /root over here. So once you run this particular command sudo -i, so you become the root user. Once you became the root user, so your present working directory is /root. That simply means this is the home directory. And once you just simply run without being the root user, so how can you just exit the root user terminal? You have to just simply write exit over here, that you will be exited. Right now if you run present working directory, so you are getting home vagrant. So there are two things, a normal user and a root user. Normal user /home/vagrant, root user sudo I, and present working directory, this is the root user over here. So these are the things that we mainly wanted to go through. So this is the first thing that we have gone through. So there are something called home directories for the root user /root, and for the home normal user this. If you actually go to the root dir, we talked about there are different things. There is a root user and there is a normal user, but there is root directory as well. Not root user, there is a root directory. So if I just go to cd/, so this is the root directory. Inside the root directory you have home as well, you have root as well. So this is the home directory for the normal user. This is the root directory for the root user. So it's like you have a root directory, you have a root directory that contains everything, that contains your normal user info, that contains your root user info, that contains home as well, that is for the normal user, and that contains root too, that is the home directory for the root user. So if you actually go to the root, cd root, so inside that you will be getting the same things. By the way, cd root, inside this present working directory /root, inside this you have only one thing, original ks cfg and all. Okay, let's not worry about that, but here that is mainly for the root user. I hope you got the point. Coming back to the next one, there is something called user executable. User executables, or what are they? There are something called /bin or /user/bin, or then user local bin. Ultimately it could be anything. Most of the time it is bin. /user/local/bin. So they are the executable ones. Executable ones in the sense, if you install anything or anything on your device that gets executed, if you click on that runs, that does something, that will be saved inside bin. So that's what I was talking about here. This is the bin that we have here. If I go inside the bin, ls, these are the things, these are the softwares and all that you have that just simply do some job. And like we have g++ over here, we have mkdir, this is the command. We have we must have mv, we have cp, these are the commands. We have present working directory. So if I just try to search that, is it gonna be searchable? Let's see. We have who, we have who am I. So whatever you run, whatever is actionable, that whatever is executable, that just simply gets saved inside bin. So that's why we have it here. And there can be user bin as well, there can be user local bin as well. Here we have bin right here. That's right, simple, easy peasy. And ls cd one directory back. As for these ones, we don't really have these directories. In Linux we just simply directly get the we directly get the bin. Probably in window and all you get user, if I'm not wrong. Okay, let's continue from here on. So what are these anyway, if you are actually worrying about what we are discussing about it? So we are discussing about important directories in Linux, just like this. So these are some of the important directories. Let's continue from here on. There is something called system executables. So there are normal executables, user executables. That simply means user is gonna be executing all those things, and there is something called system executables. So all the packages, all the software that system executes, that's gonna be inside SBIN. So even I talked about this particular thing, like it is S stands for system over here, so SBIN will be for the system. Again, if you have just normal info, that's more than enough. You don't really be master in this. Just know the things exactly how they work and all, and they exist just like this. Probably in Windows you will be getting, or probably in Mac or something. I'm not aware of this, but you will be getting local/bin as well. So here in Linux we have SBIN. If I try to show you this, so if you just run ls over here, so we have SBIN over here. So this first of all we have bin, that is user executables. Whatever user executes, whatever user runs, commands, applications and all, that gets saved inside this. And then when it comes to the SBIN, that is for the system. That simply means if your system uses something, that gets saved inside there. So cd SBIN, and we have right now what do we have inside this ls. These are the things that we have, they are used by the system. So if we actually come here, so what all we have well, whatever we have bridge for the network if I'm not wrong, and we have clock over here, system, and we have halt over here, that is definitely used for the vagrant, and we have route over here. So ultimately all these things are being used by the system, so that is why that is inside SBIN, system bin. Alrighty, so this particular thing is done as well. Continuing from here on, then let's talk about other mount points. So there is something called media and MNT. What are they? They're just simply mount points. What are mount points? I have to know more about it. So ultimately, if I go to media, so inside media I don't really have anything. If I'm not wrong, media gets mounted to the your main device, main machine. So by the way, let's see what are other what is what does slash media do. So what does slash media do in Linux? Let's see. In Linux, slash media is the standard directory where the system automatically mounts removable media. Okay, such as got it. So ultimately, if you are sticking, you are inserting something on your device, so that gets mounted to the media. So suppose you added a pen drive, whatever information you have, you will be getting it inside this. Such as USB takes external hard drives and optical disk CVDs. It serves as a mounting point for this temporary drive. So ultimately, whatever you plug in, that will be mounted to this particular media folder, and then you will be getting all the information related to that here. As simple as that. Alright, so ls. So coming back to this one, this thing we have already gone with. The next thing that we are going to be talking about, that is other mount points. There are mount points. What are the mount points? If you just simply attach something, that's going to be, suppose I plugged in a pen drive, so the information related to the pen drive, whatever the pen drive has, I will be getting inside media, just like this. Or there's something called MNT. Any one of them can be used. Over here we have media, we have MNT, we have both. So if I go to media, sort of we don't really have anything right now, ls. And if I go to MNT, ls, again present working directory, we don't really have anything over here. But yeah, both of them are empty, but they are going to be used. Then we have configuration. Already talked that when it comes to the configuration, so everything configuration. So configuration related stuff gets saved inside etc. Again, if you come here inside etc cd etc ls, so over here you have the host info, and also if you just simply say cat host name. So host name is just simply printed over here, cat hosts. So you are gonna be getting the hosts information over here. So you have password over here, so cat PASSWD. So this is also something, it just simply contains the user information and all. But yeah, this is how you have just almost everything. And you have SSH. So if I go to cd SSH ls, so inside this I have SSH, I have the keys that got created. So I have public keys, I have private keys, RSA keys of course. So if what are the SSH keys and all, if you wanna SSH into a machine, so you need these private and public key. So your public key needs to be saved. Suppose you have a virtual machine, so you will have to save your public key in your virtual machine. Then you can SSH into the machine using the private key from your local device, keeping in mind that you should be able to connect to that machine some way or the other, probably via internet or via Wi-Fi, depends. So this particular thing is done too. What is the next thing that we are going to be talking about? There is something called temporary files. Pretty simple. So temporary files, it is straightforward, right? TMP. So temporary files in the sense, suppose you are creating some temporary variables, they are going to be just simply, or temporary files, they are going to be saved inside this. Already this particular thing is done. Then there is something called kernels and bootloaders. Bootloaders, again pretty simple, you will be using /boot for it. So whenever you start your machine, even your Windows, Linux, beat any machine, so ultimately your boot, from inside boot you have your particular OS saved, and then whenever you start that, this particular files inside this boot runs, and ultimately your machine starts. Okay, so let's continue from here on. Then there is something called server data. And for that things pretty simple, we have where inside this it will be saved, or we have SRV. So inside all these things our data will be saved, and then we have system information. When it comes to system information, that's going to be saved inside proc, or it's going to be saved inside SYS system. Again, we are going to be talking like when the right time comes, we are going to be digging deeper into them. Let me just simply list them down really quickly. Then we have some shared libraries. When it comes to this, so we have /lib over here, we have /user over here, user/lib. It depends. It mainly belongs to the /user/local/lib. It is definitely not the case in Ubuntu. So it may be from the Windows side, or it may be from macOS side. Okay, coming back to this one. So these are the things that we have over here. Pretty simple. We have home directory /root and home, and then user executables bin, system executables as sbin. Other mounting points, these are the ones. Configuration will be saved inside etc. Temporary files, this folder will contain boot. This boot related kernels and loader related configuration will be inside boot. Server data will be stored inside /where or /srv, and then system information will be saved inside proc or system, and shared libraries is lib. So this is how we are going to be going ahead really quickly. Ls, let me go one step back. Alrighty, so bin contains user executable files or configurations, boot for booting, dev for development. So what is the use of dev? I'm not quite aware of this thing. I haven't discussed this yet. cd dev. So I think whatever is needed in the development mode, you just simply have all those things over here, and sort of it turns out to be right. So probably whatever you need for the running the application. Let me even see. Dev do in Linux. So dev directory is a special folder for containing device files, interfaces to physical hardware, hard drives, mic, and virtual devices, terminals, random. So ultimately it operates on everything is a file principle. Allowing applications to read and write hardware using standard file commands. So ultimately a special folder containing device files. So ultimately all the device files are going to be contain this. So let me have this as well. Just like this, coming back to this one, it actually needs to be saved over here. So device files are gonna be inside /dev here. So this is how it's gonna be going on. And then we have dev etc for configuration, home for the normal user, lib this is nothing but the shared library, and lib64 we have media, we have for the media mounting and all, mnt is for the mounting, opt maybe this is the optional, contains other things, proc this contains system information, root for the root user, run for running the stuff and all if I'm not wrong, sbn for the system executable files and all, and srv contains system information, where contains system information, temp contains temporary values, user contains user information if I'm not wrong. So this is how things are gonna be going on. Overall things are clear, whatever we needed to know, we know that. And let's continue right now. So different when it comes to Linux distros, so there are popular distros like Ubuntu, ultimately when it comes to Linux distros, so there is something called Ubuntu, Linux, Mint, ultimately Arch Linux, Fedora, Debian, OpenSUSE. I hope that's what that is called. I'm not quite aware of the pronunciation, but okay, never mind. So this is how it just simply goes. So there are two types of what there is something called desktop virtual machines, and there is called server virtual machine. What we are using right now, that is server virtual machine. And on my Linux, suppose this is the operating system that I have over here. So this my current operating system is the combination of both. It has the server virtual machine as well as the desktop virtual machine. Usually desktop virtual machines comes with the server, and then there is only server where you don't get the virtual GUI, you only get the CLI, and that's what we are in right now. Again, when it comes to CLI, server Linux operating system, so Red Hat is there, Ubuntu is there, CentOS is there, SUSE, how to pronounce this? How to pronounce SUSE Linux? SUSE Linux. Literally? American British. Yeah, SUSE Linux. Okay, never mind. By the way, most used Linux distros currently in IT industry, there are two ones. First of all, RPM based, RPM in the sense Rail package manager, if I'm not wrong, and then Debian based. So Debian based mainly Ubuntu is being used currently, and when it comes to Rail based, so that can be Rail and CentOS, and also mostly CentOS is being used, and Debian is being Ubuntu is being used based on Debian. Difference between RPM based and Debian based, from users point of view, there isn't much difference in those tools. The RPM and DEB formats are both just archive files with some metadata attached to them. They both equally can have hard-coded install paths and only differ in subtle details. DEB files are installation files for Debian. So if you are using Ubuntu, so you must have seen that whenever you are installing something, the extension is .deb. But when you are using CentOS or Fedora, what ultimately RPM based operating system, so ultimately at that time you are gonna be using files ends with RPM or something. Let's see, by the way. So Debian based ends with the DEB. RPM based should be ending with RPM. Guessing. But let's see whether whatever I said that's exactly right or not, because we can't just simply keep guessing the things. So Deb files are installation files for Debian based on based distributions. RPM files are installation files for Red Hat based distributions. So yeah, Red Hat based distributions. That's fine. So RPM Red Hat package manager, Debian, and what is Debian full form? Debian already. Ubuntu is based on Debian's package manager based on apt or dpkg. Ultimately, if you are installing something on Ubuntu, you will have to install like this: sudo apt install and the name. Suppose I want to install Vim, so this is how you will have to install. And even you can use dpkg, so sudo dpkg, then provide the deb file name. So you install it like this. But when it comes to Red Hat, CentOS and Fedora are based on the old Red Hat Linux package management system RPM, and over there if you are using RPM based operating systems, there's a slight difference. You will be using something called yum over there, if I'm not wrong. Yum is used for installing this stuff and all. We will be going through it, but yeah, this is how it's gonna be going on. Deb or .deb Debian based software. So Deb is the extension. Again, if you actually want to know more about it, so if I say Chrome, not Chrome, this Chrome download. So coming back to this one, if you actually have a look over here, if you click on download, so you are getting two options over here: DEB for Debian Ubuntu, RPM for Fedora or OpenSUSE. Okay, just like this. So you can just simply install any one of them, and they're the different files, right? By the way, I'm on Ubuntu, so I should be installing this, and after installing this, you can just simply run the command and install it on your local machine. Okay, so deb is the extension of the Debian software package format. Deb is the extension of the Debian software package format, and the most often used name for such a binary package is DEB packages. DB was developed by Debian Google Chrome software yeah, we can just simply install the Google Chrome software. That's right, dpkg, just like this it can be installed. Then there is something called rpm.rpm, Red Hat based software. So it is a package management system. Again, Dev or RPM, both of them are the same. By the way, when it comes to Red Hat package management, so it is a package management system. The RPM variously refers to the .rpm file format. Files in this format, software packaged in such files, and package managers itself. RPM was intended primarily for Linux distributions. The format is the baseline package format of the Linux standard base. RPM was developed by community and Red Hat. So by Red Hat and by the community it was developed. And if you want to install Google Chrome, so we will have to install this RPM. We'll have to install the file that ends with the RPM. Commands, packages and services while using both the kinds of distros. Having said that, we are going to be using both kind of distros over here. We will see what is the difference, how it goes, how it works, how this works, what is the difference in the commands and all. Let's talk about the commands right now. We have talked about this difference quite a lot in detail. Time to just know about the commands. So let's simply start discussing them. Let me just drink some water, bro. I'm thirsty. Give me a minute. I'll be back, and after getting some water, and then I'll continue from here on. I'm already perspiring quite a lot right now. So just a minute. I'll be back within a minute or something after getting some water. Until then, take care. Hello everybody, welcome back, and the time to just simply go through the things again. Okay, I'm sort of perspiring a lot, but never mind, doesn't really matter. Alrighty, so we were talking about this. So the first command, we are gonna be even mentioning the commands over here. So this thing we have already learned. Let's talk about the commands over here that we can just simply go through. So there is something called present working directory. It simply gives you the present working directory that you are in. So if I'm the normal user, so I'm gonna be getting this home directory. If I'm the root user, sudo I, I'm gonna be getting this root directory over here. And suppose new mkdir DevOps. So this particular folder will be created. Pretty simple thing. We already know about all these things. Change your current working directory to Linux practices. Just to go to Linux. Okay, fine. So we can just simply create a folder. We can go inside the folder. So change cd stands for change directory. So change DevOps and change DevOps. And now I'm inside that particular directory. If you run present working directory, so I'm inside DevOps right now. Pretty simple. And then what is the next thing that we have to just simply go through? Create some more directories and list them with ls command. So let's simply create some more directories. So probably I'd better just simply follow this. Okay, let's see. cd1 directory back, and we can just simply create any directory. That doesn't really matter for that sake, right? So yeah, let's continue with this. So we have created DevOps. So similarly we can create some more as well. So mkdir, and that's gonna be suppose testdir. So or one more can be oops ls. So these are the directories that we have containing from here. Using ls you can just simply list all the things that you have created. And then there is something called touch. Using touch you can just simply create files. So touch, suppose touch file1 file.txt. so here I have created this particular file over here. There is nothing inside the file. Again, if there were something, so you could have just simply kept the file. Right now there is nothing, so I don't really have anything, but yeah, we have this file.txt over here as well. And this is how we are gonna be going ahead. So done. Reconfirm your location. We can even create multiple files. That's we will be doing that. Suppose I have this file .txt. Suppose I want to create 20 files or 10 files. So touch file, and I want to create files from 1 to 10. So ultimately 10 files should be created .txt. So what will happen? This particular command will create 10 files. So the number will be changing 1, then 2, then 3, then 4, and this way 10 files are gonna be created. Let me run this. Let me say ls. So I have file 1 to 1 txt. Then let me even list it in the ls in this format, but this is not the right format. So let me, I have file.txt, then 1, 2, yeah, this is right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So this is the ascending order. And apart from this particular thing, I can even reverse them. So reversing in the sense, first of all, 9 will come, then 8, 7, 6, something like this. It will just simply keep going on. And not only that, ls lr, I can sort them based on the timing. So I have to just simply add t over here, lt, and they are gonna be sorted based on the timing that they have created. They've been created. So 12:5 it was created at this, then they did this, then until 12:3. So this is how they are in the kind of descending order. If I want to reverse that, so I have to just simply add r over here. That's gonna be reversed. So 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I mean, it just simply keeps going on like this. Alrighty, there are two kinds of paths. There is something called absolute path. There is something called relative path. What is path, by the way? So a path is a unique location or to a file or a folder in a file system of an OS. A path to a file is a combination of / and alphanumeric characters. What is an absolute path? An absolute path is defined as specifying the location of a file or directory from the root directory. In other words, we can say absolute path is a complete path from the start of actual file system or directory. So ultimately, suppose some examples: home, this, boot. Okay, that's fine. So boot grub config etc samba.smb config where ft pub home run linux practices boot. Okay, if you see all these paths started from directories which is the root directory for every Linux UX machine. Ultimately, if you just simply write present working directory over here, you are getting /home/vagrant. So this / is the root directory. Any command that starts from here and goes till the end, that is the absolute path. So if I go to suppose DevOps folder right now here, and if I say present working directory, so I have got DevOps here. So ultimately this is the absolute path. What is the relative path? Relative path is related to a specific folder, not related to the root directory. So suppose I'm one directory back here. Again, cd used for change directory, dot means one step back. So if I want to go to inside test.dir, or if I'm one more step back, ls, I'm inside vagrant. And now once I'm inside vagrant, so first of all I'm inside present working directory. Sorry, I'm inside home right now, and from the home, if I want to go ahead, so I have to go to vagrant, and from vagrant I have to go to DevOps. So I'll have to run cd. I have to go to vagrant first of all, vagrant ls cd vagrant, and after vagrant, where do I have to go? After vagrant I have DevOps, so I have to go here. So this is kind of the relative path that I'm specifying. So from the current directory, what is the relative of what is the file related to the current directory that where you wanna go? So it's gonna be DevOps right here, and right now I have the present directory is DevOps, even this DevOps is being mentioned over here. So I was inside home, then from the home I came back to DevOps again using relative path. By the way, what is the relative path? Relative path is defined as path related to present working directory. So whatever you have related to the present working directory, that path is the relative path. Suppose I am located in home slash well, this is just the example, let's not worry about that. I want to change directly to home Imran. This I'm located in home Imran. I want to change directly to home Imran Linux practices. I can use a relative path concept to change the directory to Linux practices. Also DevOps SDIR. So yeah, that's fine. We can just simply change that. So ultimately, what I mean here, if I were inside suppose home, so present working directory, right now I'm inside home and I want to go to inside DevOps. So there are two ways. Either I write cd /home /vagrant /DevOps. So this is the root absolute directory, and this is the absolute directory. If I click it, I'll be there in that particular directory. And the another thing is that as I'm inside this already, I'm already inside home. So instead of going from the root, I'm directly gonna be going from the home. So this is related to this particular directory, related to the present directory. So I can just simply say cd vagrant /DevOps, and now I'm there. So both the things work. If you see all these paths, I did not start with slash creating directories in DevOps dir directory with a similar path related. What? Just a minute. Creating directories in DevOps directory with absolute path and relative path. We can even do that. We can create directories inside directories. That is right. And once that is done, okay. Copy files into directory. Let's talk about copy, exactly how this works and all. So suppose right now ls I'm inside DevOps. Let me go one step back. So here these are the files that we have. Suppose I want to copy. So I want to copy this file inside DevOps. So what will I do? Copy and file.txt to what? DevOps folder. Just simple, run it. So this file, well, it did not work. Or did it? Okay, copied. So I copied this particular file inside DevOps. So if I go to DevOps right now, cd DevOps, this is the relative path. Inside this I'm getting file.txt. Even you can just simply run, do it like this: ls DevOps / just DevOps. So whatever inside you have, whatever you have inside DevOps, that's gonna be visible over here. And we have nothing but the file.txt over there. As simple as that. So copying files into directory, we have gone through that. Copying directories from one location to another. You can even copy directories from one location to the other. So when copying the directories, suppose I want oops inside DevOps. So I can just simply say cd, sorry, not move actually. Not, I wanna talk about copy, right? I don't wanna move. Yeah, I wanna copy. So copy oops. And where I wanna copy it, I wanna copy it inside DevOps. Let's see, will it work? It will not. It is just simply saying that -r not specified, omitting a directory oops. So ultimately r is mainly here for recursive. So you may have many folders inside a folder, and for that thing just make sure that this r is specified over there, so that it is able to just simply copy all the folders inside the folder. So cp r oops, and where do I wanna send this? DevOps. Not send this, copy this. This will be copied inside DevOps. So this is done. ls, now if I say ls DevOps, so I am getting two things over here: file.txt and oops I already have here as well. Come on, yeah. How much will I snitch today? Alrighty then, copying directory is done. And what is the next thing? Moving files from one location. How many pages are there? 44. There's a lot of things. Just a minute, give me a moment, I'll be back. Alrighty, here we are, and let's simply get going. Get it done within half an hour or something. It should not be taking more than that. So we have done this, moving files from one location to the another. So far we have just simply copied the files. So I even have the commands. We have gone through ls, simply list the files. Host name gives you the host name. Who am I tells you about who you are. So if I say ls over here, I'm getting host name. I'm gonna be getting the host name over here. Who am I tells me about me. Vagrant tells me about the username. So this is the Vagrant username that I have present working directory. Tells you the present working directory. ls, have written it twice. Cat just simply prints whatever the content is inside that particular file. So if I go to etc cd etc, inside that you have os release. where is that? Profile net. This is OS release that we have. This is nothing but a file here. So if I say, how do I know this is a file? So if you say lsl, so here all the directories they have D in front of them. So that simply means that directories, and normal ones they are just simply files. Having said that, in Linux everything is a file. By the way, if I go to the O here, so these are the links we'll be talking about this, like shortcut, yeah, sort of links. And here we are mainly going to talk about OS release. This is also a link to user lib OS release, but ultimately it is a what link. So what is the link? We will be talking about that. This is a link, this is the directory, this is a file. So this is how things go on here. So this particular thing is done. So moving files from one directory to the other. Let's simply focus on the moving part. We have done this. History, using history you can just simply by the way, I haven't done that. Cat OS release. So cat OS release actually. So here whatever you have inside OS release, what you have the name, version, ID, version, platform, pretty, I mean quite a lot of info about your operating system. So you can just simply about your OS release, so you can just simply know more about that. Alrighty, then we have history. So history just simply gives us the commands. So whatever commands I ran so far, they are gonna be here. Keep in mind that history of the normal user and history of the root user, they are gonna be different. So if I say ls present working directory, I'm inside etc. So cd present working directory. So right now the path is /home/background. That simply means I'm a normal user. If I wanna, let me search write history over here. So this is the history that I'm getting, and sudo I, this is the root user. If I say history here, so this is gonna be different. Suppose I'm using cd ls pwd exit pwd ls and all. If I exit and if I run history again, history sudo history pwd, so ultimately I'm using sudo over here and all. So ultimately this is different from the root one. Alrighty, removing by the way, let's simply move the files. So ls, I wanna move, suppose I wanna move DevOps inside test.dir, for example. So how will I be doing that? mv, I'm gonna be using R over here for the recursive, and I wanna move DevOps from where inside test.dir, and that's it, run. By the way, what is the problem? Invalid move help. I think move directly works or what? Yeah, it directly works. So you don't really need to use R over there. So inside test.dir there should be what? Inside test.dir there should be DevOps. So ls test.dir, ls lt l and test.dir. Here come on. Here you are getting DevOps and what else? Just DevOps inside test.dir. So inside test.dir you have nothing but the DevOps. You can even say it like this, ls and test.dir, just like this. So you are getting DevOps over there. Pretty simple. Removing files from the directories. If you want to remove the files from the directories, so you have to just simply run rf command from the directories. Suppose I wanna remove DevOps from here, so remove rf r. If you wanna remove forcefully, so you have to write f over here. Pretty simple. And I'm gonna be removing it from DevOps. ls, okay, I'm not inside that was the problem. Let me go to the oops right now, not oops, let me go to the test.dir, and now if I want to remove DevOps from here, so remove rf and DevOps, I'm gonna be just simply running it. It is gonna be removed. Pretty simple. They are the simplest commands, so not gonna be worrying much about them. So okay, this is what we have to just simply go through. Now we are gonna be talking about VM editor, but before that, let me see if I have covered everything. Sudo I, we know that. CD and CD. One more thing, either you write CD or CD and tilde brings you back to the home directory of the user. So there is a root user, there is normal user. It will bring you to the normal user's home directory. So suppose I am inside this root directory, and if I go to the normal users root home directory. So I can just simply write cd, and if I say ls here, so I'm inside present working directory, I'm inside home vagrant, so I'm inside the home automatically. Same, I can even say cd and this tilde mark, and I will be there again. So this is how it just simply works. So this thing that we have gone through with, and if you write cd and this forward slash, you will be redirected to the root directory, so brings you to the root dir. So this is also done. These are the files that you usually get inside any Linux or CentOS. Some of them are gonna be common, like AFS is extra here, but bin, boot, dev, etc, home, lib64, most of them are extra. A few of them are just same. Most of them are the same. A few of them just are extra depending on the operating system. Then we have this SBN used by the root user, or used by the system ultimately the root user. We have cat etc hostname, it just simply prints that. We have proc uptime. Inside proc we have uptime, we have free m, and ls. If I go to proc, if I go to the root directory, let me go to the proc. So inside this, what all you have? Inside this I have uptime here. Inside this I have what? Pressure over here. I have I'm just simply having a look at them. Okay, what did I have it here? I have free over here. Do I have free here? In this particular section I don't have free. This free was only available in CentOS. So in CentOS we had free there, we don't have free here. Crazy stuff. But if I just simply write uptime, so I'm gonna be getting the uptime, exactly how long my this computer has been up and all. So even if I exit this ls, if I run uptime over here, I'm still gonna be getting this. So it is available everywhere. So any command that you have over here, that can be used anywhere else. Alrighty, so this thing is this thing we have gone through. And what is the next thing? You have free, like it just simply gives you the memory that is being used. So ultimately RAM and all, it just simply gives you the information about that, how much is being used and how much is remaining. mkdir, we can just simply create them. Touch mkdir for creating the folder, touch for creating a file, touch DevOps from 1 to 10, it just simply creates a file from 1 to 10. Similarly, you can even create a folder, you can create folders. So wow, I'm on the root directory ls, that's right. So vagrant ssh. Now I'm inside my virtual machine, and inside my virtual machine, suppose I want to create 10 folders, so I can just simply say that mkdir and dir, and the name should be 1 to 10 or maybe 100. I can even just simply write this, and the folders are gonna be created. So folder probably like this, and I'm gonna say that okay, let's create a 50 folder for me. It will be just simply creating that. So if I enter it ls, these 50 folders have been created. Pretty simple stuff. So cp for copying the stuff, ls for listing, ls home vagrant dev, and this is the relative path, by the way, not relative path. ls this is the relative path, this is the absolute path, and then cd home, this I'm just simply copying here using the what absolute path. I'm copying here using the relative path, using absolute path, and I am never ever gonna be revising them. I know I'm just simply going through them once, but still making my notes, so that if in case I'm gonna be back, so things are structured. And dev backup dir using a relative path, just like this. So this is done. When it comes to commands, so we have these commands over here. ls for the normal one. If you want to list more information, so if you wanna see more info, then you just use L. If you want to see that in the recursive format, use R over there, and this is how it's gonna be done. By the way, let me remove it. Move for DevOps, this particular file inside this is how it's gonna be moved. One important thing, that is when you are moving one folder to the another folder, you don't need R. So when moving one folder inside another one. You don't need R to use or append, whatever you call that. Similarly, we can just move all the files inside a test directory. So suppose here I have all these folders. So what I'm gonna be saying, I'm gonna be creating I'm gonna just simply say that move folder, and from 1 to 50 I wanna move all these folders. Where I want to move them, I want to move them inside a new folder. So suppose this new folder should be created and I want to move. Is this gonna be right? Not really, it's gonna be wrong. So what it is saying, first of all, it is saying that target new folder is not a directory. So I'm gonna say okay, it is not a directory. Let's do one thing, create one if it is possible. I hope it will be able to create it. So it will not be able to create a directory. Probably I will have to create it on my own. So mkdir and folder container. Suppose this is the name that I have created, ls. So this is the folder container I have. Inside this folder container I want to contain all the folders. So move folder from 1 to 50 that I have. Where do I have to move? I have to move them inside folder container. Is this gonna be right? Not really, because I'm not using it. This is gonna be right, by the way, anyway. So they have been moved. If I say ls, so I have this folder container inside this. If I go to inside folder container, so I'm gonna be getting all the folders that I have created. So this is how I have just the things here. I hope it does make sense. Coming back to this one, we have gone through this. Remove, if you want to remove a file, use this. If you want to remove a folder, you will have to use recursive this over here. mkdir test you can create. We have talked about this. If you want to remove everything, use this particular thing. If you wanna remove everything by force, this is the most dangerous command you can ever run. So here you will be removing it by forcefully. Do not run this if you until unless you exactly know what you are doing. By the way, let's talk about Vim from here on. So these are the just Linux commands. Okay, so coming back to this one, so what am I actually gonna do? Linux commands. These are the Linux commands that we have learned. Even we are gonna be learning more. Like this is not just the end, rather just the beginning. So we are gonna be knowing more about that. But as for right now, this should be it. These are gonna be more. These are more than enough commands that you should be knowing and all. Alrighty, so this particular thing we have gone through, and let's talk about the Vim from here. So just here, Vim, and when it comes to Vim, so let me just. These are the things. Vim. We are gonna be just discussing about nothing but Vim over here. So that's gonna be pretty interesting, and this is gonna be the last part. And then let's talk about a bit more thing. Ouch! I hurt myself. Crazy. Have we talked about removing the files and all? I have talked about that, but I haven't really removed. So let me remove some of them. Suppose I wanna remove this folder container from here. So remove rf. I will have to use r over here because that is a folder, and just simply remove that has been removed. Similarly, I can remove a file. So suppose I want to remove this file 10.txt, or I want to remove all these files. So remove a file that starts with 1 to 10.txt. ls, all of them are removed. If I want to remove everything, so remove everything. Remove rf and everything is removed. Simple. So this is the thing that we have gone through, and time to talk about Vim. That is the most important thing. So here we already have Vim installed by default. So Vim, if I just say ls, Vim is mainly used for editing a file, and even if you just simply edit the file when that does not exist, it will automatically create that. Alrighty, so let's simply start talking about that. So coming back to this one, install Vim editor. By the way, if you don't have a Vim editor, so you can just simply install that. So sudo apt-get install Vim. If you are on Ubuntu, so you can just simply run sudo apt-get install Vim, and this way it's gonna be installed. If you are on Fedora and also, you will have to just simply probably use sudo yum install Vim, if I'm not wrong. Let me see. Vim. So sudo yum install yeah. So this is what you will have to use this. So this is mainly for the Red Hat based, so RPM. This is for sudo apt get install vim, yes for all. This is for the Debian based distros. By the way, let's continue from here on. Here we have three types of modes. So we have command mode, we have insert mode, we have edit mode. We have insert mode or edit mode, we have extend mode. By default, when you write vi any file name, that doesn't really matter. So suppose file.txt, this one I'm gonna be creating, or test.txt. Here this is the command mode that you have. So first you have three modes over here: command, insert, and extend. So by default that you get, this is the command mode. Inside the command mode you cannot really do anything. Well, I probably exit. This is the command mode. Let me go in, and if you click I over here, that's gonna be the insert mode. So using the insert mode, you can just simply edit the file and all. So this is the command mode. Simple. If you wanna write something there, so you have to just simply click I, and now you are in the insert mode. So it's pretty simple, by the way. Q. So right now, if you actually have a look over here, we don't really have any file because we haven't created that. We quit it then and there. So vi test.txt, I'm gonna be running that again. This is the command mode. Command mode, what is that called? Yeah, command mode. Then if you want to go into insert mode, so now I'm inside the insert mode. I am now in the insert mode right now. I am in the insert mode right now, and I can just simply click escape, and now I'm gonna be back to the there is something called command mode. So if I try to write, well, there is something called F over here that somehow works. So if I try to write something, that should not be working, but few things work here for some reason. No lines in buffer. I deleted everything, cut everything. Ultimately, I can just simply copy that again. But this is how it just simply goes. So when you click I, you are gonna be in the insert mode, and right now if you click O, so you will be in the insert mode, but you will be one line below. So if I click O over here on my terminal, so I'm here one line below, and I can just simply write anything. So I am in the insert I clicked O in my keyboard. Alrighty, so click escape to just simply come on the command. If you click escape, you will be on the command mode again, and there is another one. We have command mode, we have insert mode, we have something called extended mode as well. So in the extended mode, what happens if you click shift and colons? So this is gonna be colon, of course I'm talking about. So if you click shift and colon button on your keyboard, so you are gonna be inside extend mode, and inside the extend mode you can just simply write some more things. So escape and colon this, and right now you can just simply do what you can say. If you write just W over here, it will be written. That simply means it will be saved. If you write a Q over here, you will quit. If you want to quit without saving, so you have to quit on this punctuation mark that will be used. Now what kind of punctuation mark this is, I'm not aware of the name, but you can use this for quitting it by forcefully, and you can write WQ for writing and quitting at the same time. So suppose if I write WQ over here, so I have written and quit. So if I say cat test.txt, so here I'm getting whatever I wrote over there. Okay, so that's great. What is the next thing that we can do over here? We have done it, and hit enter. So hit I to enter into the insert mode. We have gone through that. Type few lines and then hit escape. Of course, if you hit escape, you are gonna be in the command line mode again, and then WQ will be writing and saving it, quitting it. Read this with the cat command. We have already done that. And Vim editor, visual display editor, and visual display editor improved. So there is something called Vim editor over here. There are two things. There is something called VI and there is something called VIM. VI stands for Visual Display Editor. VIM, Visual Display Editor improved. This command line mode editor for files. Other editors in Linux are Emacs, Gradit. VI editor is the most popular one. It has 3 command line modes, so we have already gone through them. When you open the Vim editor, it will be in the command mode by default. So whenever you open Vim editor, it is always in the command mode. If I say ls over here, ls over here, so I have test.txt. I'm gonna be creating one more file, but we have few things over here. That is one, first of all, vi, that's gonna be vim visual display editor. So ultimately slash code, we have vi over here. This stands for visual display editor, and we have vim, that stands for visual display editor improved. So probably it has more features and all, I'm not aware of that. Okay, so this is the thing. Then it has 3 modes. So when it comes to modes, we have even talked about modes in detail. So when it comes to this, so it has 3 modes. The first mode is gonna be command mode. When you go inside Vim, that is the command mode by default. The second one is the insert mode. So insert mode you have, that is called edit mode as well. And the third one is the extended mode. By the way, we have talked about these 2 things. To insert, one label down, if you wanna insert, that is gonna be O. Extend command, if you write W, you are writing and saving. And then quitting, for quitting, write and quit, so you have to use this particular command. And quit without saving, so you have to use this particular command. And this is how you are gonna be going ahead. There is something called say new. What is this, by the way? If you wanna see the number of lines, so what I mean, cat test.txt, these are the lines that you have inside there, right? So let me say vim and test.txt. Right now you are inside the command mode right now, and if you want to see the number of lines, exactly how many number of lines are here, so in that case you can just simply use first of all shift and colon, and then SECNU number, just this much you have to do, and you have to just simply click enter. So it just simply makes sense, right? SE stands for C, NU stands for number. If you just simply click enter, you are gonna be getting the numbers over here. So right now you are just simply getting the numbers as well. And now you can click I to just simply go into the insert mode, and if you want, you can just simply work with the things. This is just the starting go. Alrighty. So, and for saving it, you have to just simply click on escape. Once you have clicked on escape, now click shift and colon and write W for saving it. It is saved, and right now if you wanna quit, so quit it. Either save it and quit it separately, or just write both the commands in the one go. That will also work. Alright, let's talk about some of the commands over here. But before that, I need to have a good file that has some stuff here. So ls, let me do one thing. cd. Here let me go to inside etc. Inside etc, well, we don't really have anything. cd. Let me switch to the root user, so sudo I. And once I have switched to the root user, inside this I have a file called original. This, let me see if I have something original. This is the data, this is the content that is inside that, right? So let me go inside this particular file, vi original. This is the extension CFG, that is the extension that is used. If I write vi original, so I'm gonna be inside that. Once I'm inside this, so if I wanna see the things, right now I'm still in the command mode, and this is the data that is inside that particular file. Okay, what do we have to do now? If I want to see the numbers, so what will I be doing? If I want to see the numbers, so I can just simply say that a shift colon and SEU and number, it will just simply show all the numbers. So right now you are just simply come on, yeah, you are getting all the numbers as well over here. The next thing is that if you wanna go at the top, so suppose right now you are here, okay, and you wanna go at the top, so you have to just simply enter small g 2 times, so gg, here you are at the top. And if you wanna go at the end, so capital G, so capital G will bring you at the end. So gg at the top, capital G at the end, so small gg at the top, shift capital and shift plus G, that simply means capital G, will bring you at the end. So this is how it goes. So these are the commands. Let's simply talk about them. G, go to the last line, it just simply will bring you to the last line. Small gg's, they will bring you to the first line. We have already gone through this. Let's talk about copying. If you want to copy a line, then what you have to do? Copy line in the sense, suppose this is the line to make the future variant, whatever this. I want to copy this, so I have to just simply click y and it is copied. Is this not gonna be? Probably I need to open it with Vim. I'm not able to copy the things. I am able to copy it, but it is not telling me that it has been copied. Suppose if I come here y, it's been copied, but it is not really telling me that that it has actually been copied. So let me do one thing. Let me save it. What? I have saved that. I'm gonna be opening it using Vim here, and let's see. Now it's been opened using Vim. There is a difference. What is the difference? The difference is that VI is the normal normal editor, and Vim is the kind of a little bit improved one, and that is why you are just simply getting some colors here and all. Alrighty, so these are the things that you have here. By default you are in the command mode right now, and hopefully I haven't changed something here. Yeah, I haven't changed anything yet, and lastly I'm not gonna be even changing at the end of the day, but hopefully this much is clear. Okay, what is the next thing? The next thing is that if you wanna see the numbers, then simply click shift and colon and C and U. You are gonna be seeing the numbers over here. Once you are seeing the number, if you just simply say GG 2 times, you are gonna be at the top. If you see capital G, come on, I'm in the insert mode right now. So install, escape. You need to be on the command mode for just simply going at the top or going at the bottom. You can use capital G to go at the end. That simply means shift plus G. So this particular thing is done. To move the cursor forward word by word, use W. So if you are just at the top, so let me go to the top, and you have to use capital W to just simply move the cursor word by word. So this is we are doing. We are moving the cursor word by word ahead. Just simply, that's great. It just does the job, and we are moving it word by word right now. So hyper this. This is where it does make sense. Right now we are just simply moving the cursor word by word, and for that thing we are using W. So let me use capital W over here. Move the cursor word by word. I'm entering the notes as well, so that definitely this is something I need to just visit again in the future. So we have used W. To move the cursor backward word by word, use B. So if I move the cursor backward, so move the cursor backward word by word, I'm gonna be using this. So let's see. B is gonna be used for moving it backward word by word, and similarly control W, shift plus W is going to be used for moving it forward. So that's pretty simple. Control W forward, B is gonna be backward, and this is how it's gonna be going on. Again, few commands are there that I have to just practice them to keep them in mind. Then there is something called NW, to move the cursor forward to n number of words, and move the cursor backwards n number of words. Oh, I don't even have to say control W. W is gonna be for the forward, B is gonna be for the backward. So W forward, back, B for the backward, just like this. So we have already this is not control W, just the normal W is gonna be enough over here. And we have NW, move the cursor. By the way, this should be forward word by word, move the cursor forward, move the cursor forward by n words, just like this. And okay, and then we have NB, move the cursor backward by n words. Let me see. So B stands for backward, W stands for forward over here. It just simply works like this. Okay, the next thing is that if I want to suppose 5B, so back by 5 words. Suppose 50B, back by 50 words. 50W, ahead by 50 words. 5W, ahead by 5 words. So this is how it just simply goes. So great. These are not this is not something that's gonna be used quite a lot, like moving forward and backward, but okay, good to know. And then U is mainly used for undoing. So if you say undo, so it is gonna be just here at the top. So whatever changes we have made, they are gonna be undone. So suppose I'm gonna be copying this install. So if I say double Y, so it is gonna be copied, and once it is copied, I'm gonna be just simply say P. So P is gonna be just simply pasting, capital P is gonna be pasting at the top. So if you just simply say P, will be pasting down the line. If you say capital P, will be pasting above, just like that. And if you say U, so you will be just simply undoing everything. So whatever you have done, that will be undone. So this is the thing that we have gone through. We even know about the copying, how we copy the things. We know about the pasting, how we paste the things, capital P. We can even copy the few number of lines, like if you want to copy suppose 10 lines from here. So wherever your cursor is right now, if you want to copy 10 lines, so 10 y, so 10 lines, even it is just simply saying that 10 lines young, that simply means they have been copied. Now where do you want to paste? Suppose I am here right now, probably here. Now if you want to paste below, just write P, and that will be copied below. Okay, sorry, pasted below. Just click U to just simply come back, like undo whatever you have done. And if you want to paste at the top, so control P, it will be pasted at the top. So this is how it's gonna be going ahead. Let me just simply undo that as well. And once this is done, so we know how to copy the lines. We can even cut the lines. Undo, we already know. We can cut the lines as well. And this is gonna be used for search. So let me cut the lines. Cut the lines in the sense, suppose this is the one that I have, right? I wanna cut it. Cut it in the sense, I can, after cutting it, I can paste it. If you wanna just copy, so right now it has been copied. If you say P, this is gonna be pasted. And if you just wanna undo, so undo it like this by clicking U over on the keyboard. And the next thing is that if you wanna copy it at the top, so suppose I am here and I wanna copy it at the top, so control P, and it is gonna be copied at the top. So you can even undo that. So this is how it's gonna be going ahead. And the next thing is that if you don't wanna copy that, if you wanna cut it from here, suppose this is the command that you love the most and you wanna cut it, so just write DD, it is cut. Once it is cut, you can paste it. If you wanna paste below, so write enter P. Otherwise, if you wanna paste at the top, so enter control P, and this is gonna be pasted there. Not only that, you can even cut some lines together. Some lines together in the sense, suppose from 17 to probably this 27, you want to cut all these lines. So what you are gonna do, 10 DD. It has cut everything. And now if you wanna paste it like this, it will be pasted. If you wanna paste it at the top, it's gonna be pasted like this. So yeah, you can cut the things like this as well. So ultimately, one more thing, if you just click on escape, now you are in the command mode, and if you just say shift and colon, now you are in the extended mode. And over here, if you say slash, and what you can just search for anything from here. So suppose I wanna look for URL, so URL, and if I click enter, so I'm gonna be getting wherever the URL is used. All those things are gonna be highlighted. So URL, and these are the places where URL has actually been used. So all those places are actually highlighted. So this way I can just simply search that. Not only searching, I can even what is that thing called? I can even replace the words here. So I'm gonna be working on that too. But overall, these are the commands. I insert mode O, you will be inserting, but one level below. This is for the saving and quitting. C numbers, I just call it like this: SENE. So ultimately, see the numbers, right? G for going to the top. G for going to the last line. GG for going to the top. W, move forward word by word. B, move backward. N, W, n number of words. N, back, go forward by n number of words. Go backward by n number of words. Y, copy it. P, paste below. P, capital P, paste above. And 4y, copy 4 lines. D, delete. Ultimately cut, not even delete. Double D. U is gonna be for undoing whatever you have done. 5D, copy 5, cut 5 lines. You can even cut the entire lines, and you can just simply search for the things. So these are some of the commands. Let's continue from here on. It's not like this is the end. We actually have a lot. Great. I cannot really stop unless I have gone through them. So let's continue. As simple as that. So these are the things that we have gone through. Next, we have U to undo the previous changes, entire line. To undo the previous changes entire line. Suppose here we are, and let me go to the insert mode here. here I'm gonna be going to in the insert mode, I'm gonna be writing something. So suppose this is what I have written. If I say U, if I say control W, sorry, just escape, and if I say U, so that's undone, right? And insert mode, write something over here, and escape, and capital U, it works the same. Undo the previous changes in tar line, undo the last change word. No, it doesn't really work. Probably it does work. So I'm gonna be writing something here, then I'm gonna be writing something here, then I'm gonna be writing something here. If I click on U, let me say command, go to the command mode. If I say U, so yeah, it just undoes one thing. And if I say control U, well, that doesn't really work. Let's forget about that. Then control R for redo the changes. Okay, you have undone. If you wanna redo, so control R. So whatever we change, yeah, so we can undo it, we can redo it. This is great. So undo plus control plus R, control plus R for redoing the things. This is mainly used for undoing. At least I will have the idea. I know most of them I'm gonna be forgetting very soon, but some way or the other I'll have to practice them so that I can keep them in my mind. Alrighty, let's continue. And we actually have a lot of commands here. Well, more than I expected. Do I really need to learn all of them at the same time? Alrighty, let's continue. So we have gone through these ones, and then control W, copy a line. VY. We can say YY to copy a line, to copy n number of lines. Okay, that is YY, right? N number of lines. Paste a line. Okay, done. To delete the word letter by word, DW, and to delete the letter by letter, like backspaces, X to delete the word letter by letter, like delete key. Okay, here we have something interesting. So if you wanna delete a word by word, so there is something called DW. So it does delete word by word, like backspace. So backspace, and then you have X, delete word by word, like delete. Let's try this thing out. So let me undo everything whatever I have done, and let me be back here. Hopefully undo everything first of all. Undo, yeah, done. Now if I want to delete the word, so for deleting the word, DW for backspace. So let me come here. Suppose I am here and I want to delete the word, so DW, this backs. Oh, I've written it opposite. To delete the word letter by letter, like backspace. Backspace deletes like this, and DW actually deletes like this. So it deletes like DW. It actually works like delete. So DW delete like delete. So like delete, and X delete like backspace. So let me check this thing X as well. So here I am X, X does the same. So X like delete the word letter by letter, like del key. So delete the word letter by letter, like del key. Just like this, it just works like that. As for this DW, delete the word letter by letter, like backspace. DW, don't know whether it actually works or not. DW, does it seem to be working? Not to me. It is WD, undo everything. Alrighty, this much is done. And I think that is not DW, that is WD. W forwards, WD. करता क्या है भाई, कुछ तो करता है. I'm unable to get the idea exactly what it does. I'm just simply clicking DW. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, this. It does two things. First of all, it deletes backwards words, like word by word, and then it deletes the letters like backspace. So it does that, delete the letter like workspace. So DW, yeah, this works like this. But if it is in the middle, so DW, it will delete the whole word. So it has two jobs. Now why am I even learning this? Doesn't really matter. So delete words, word by word. Delete previous words word by word, if any, and delete letters, words, letter by letter. Delete for words. That's not the right word, but word by word, if any. Delete the backward words. Delete backward words, letter by letter, if any. I'm myself gonna be confused in future, but okay, never mind, such crazy thing this is. Okay, this is done. DD delete, NDD. Okay, this slash to search a word in a line. Here I am, and if I want to search a word, and that's gonna be noob. Oh, what is that? Slash boot loader. So using this, you can just simply search the things directly. Slash colon slash boot loader. Okay, never mind. This thing is done. And then extend mode, colon mode. Extend mode is used for save and quit, and save without quit escape. So escape plus W, we already know that. We don't really need to go through it. Escape plus Q, we know. WQ, we know. W and save forcefully. Let me just simply go through them. First of all, whatever I'm writing over here, that will be done. Escape plus the remaining things that I'm gonna be mentioning over here. So first of all, escape plus colon W, that will be to save then colon q, that will be to quit, that too without saving, and then wq, save and quit, just like this. Then we have q to save forcefully. If that is not getting saved, then you can just say save forcefully as well, that does make sense anyway. So to save forcefully, and then we have wq, save quit forcefully. So save and quit forcefully, yeah, that's right, save and quit forcefully. By the way, I don't really think we ever need this, but let's see. Save, forget about using 2 over here, and this is actually gonna be for the save. Alrighty, this much we have gone through. And what are the next things? We have x, save and quit. Really? Why it actually exists? X, this to save and quit. Let's see, save and quit. We have capital X to give a password to the file and remove password. Huh? What does it mean to give password to the file and remove password? Escape 21 to go to the number to line 20. Okay, this is done. 20. What is the use of it? I'll have to check it. Alrighty, so let me undo everything first of all. Come on, I'm gonna undo that. Alrighty, we have undone everything, and escape I have already clicked, and X, it just simply goes out of this, and so X is the short form for WQ if I'm not wrong, and we have 20N if I want to go to the line number 20, so 20N. Okay, undo everything. 20N, not editor command 21 and 20N. Am I missing something? By the way, if I say escape and C number, I should be getting the numbers, and escape 20N, escape 20, probably 10N, no way. And there was forward slash for searching, so if I just simply say forward slash and CTL, I'm gonna be getting that. So yeah, there is something called forward slash. As for this X, I don't know. There is something called forward slash to search, and there is X search and replace if needed. Just like this, we are going to be talking about that exactly how it's used and all. Hopefully this is the one that's used. Let me keep search only here, and then we have colon SEN, and that's gonna be set the numbers to the numbers to the file, set the line numbers to the file, set line numbers numbers to the file, just like this. We have none to remove the set numbers. Okay, we can even remove it. So see, it is no, there should be none. Okay, none, no number. Okay, got it. See, no number. No number. See, no number. So remove line numbers. file. Let's see. So I have the numbers right now, and what is the next thing? The next thing that escape CNU just simply shows me the number, and C no number just simply removes them. So we can just simply see them, we can just simply remove them. It's completely up to us. No number. Alrighty, so this much we have gone through. And is the command options. We have there are the command options. Yeah, I'm gonna be taking a break here. I don't know how long it's been, but there are still few things that I have to go through. So probably I'm gonna be going through them tomorrow. It is not done yet. Rather, if I actually show you my notes. So we have gone through these commands. That's great. Again, this thing needs days. It's not like if I go through this thing just in a day. So I'm gonna be having them in my mind. I better just simply give it proper time so that I have them in my mind. There is something called grep that is mainly used for searching the things and all. So ultimately, you just simply say grep, and input is like it for making it a case insensitive, and you are gonna be giving it the file name. So in the file name, wherever that word is, that's gonna be just simply kind of found filtered ultimately. So for filtering, it is used. Similarly, you can even filter it inside the whole directly exactly where that is. So for that thing, you can use it for the recursive thing and all, and this way you can just simply get the things done. Then we have cutter, we have awk, we have tail, head. These are the easy ones. No need to worry about them. We have said over here that it is mainly used for making the changes and all. So like if you wanna replace in the file, so at that time you are gonna be using this. So all these things are gonna be discussed tomorrow. Let's call it here. How long has it been? I don't even know. So it's been 2 hours. 2 hours. Never expected. Learning is difficult. I mean different, and explaining is different. Teaching is altogether different. I'm not really actually focusing on explaining it in detail, because if I were, it would have even taken more time. So yeah, bro, teaching does require, not teaching, even explaining, when you are just simply explaining the things, it does take time. It took two hours, right? The same amount of time I gave to learn it, then the same amount of time to explain it. But one benefit, once I'm done with explanation and all, there's very less probability of forgetting. So the same amount of for learning, even more amount for learning, half or maybe equal amount for explaining the things and all, and this is how the learning goes. So first of all, I have to spend time learning, then I have to spend the time explaining, but at the end it's worth it. Alrighty then, bye bye, take care, and I'm gonna be catching up soon. There's a lot of things to do. And that is why I'm just simply deciding to call it here. We'll be talking about the other things tomorrow. Even gonna be catching up with the Rust. Let me complete the class of the Rust. Once that is done, then I'm gonna be back and I'm gonna be talking about the Rust. And because using Rust, I have to create a project really quickly, because that is in the progress and also. I'm gonna be catching up soon. Take care.